Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Green. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Green is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
Do you want to become insanely successful? Do you want to be the go-to guru in your industry? Do you want to be talked about for all the right reasons? For over 40 years, Kevin Harrington has helped people just like you become significant influencers. Now he's broken the process down in the Key Person of Influence Roadmap, and it's yours for free. Just text KPI to him at 727-888-2100. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free step-by-step guide. Text KPI to 727-888-2100 to get the recognition you deserve and experience the success as the go-to voice everyone listens to in your industry today. Welcome to the SharkPreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Green. Today I have the good fortune of interviewing Adam Gilad of the F Normal podcast. Adam, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Seth. Happy to be here, man.
We are super excited. So for our folks at home who do not know, what is F Normal all about?
F Normal is the name of my podcast called F Normal, the Bold Life Giladcast. And I run a company called The Bold Life. I run a tribe called The Bold Life Tribe. I have the Bold Life Wealth Academy. I have the Bold Life Brotherhood. I have the Bold Life Awakening Weekend. And basically, I think you get the theme of what I'm about.
I'm sensing, I don't know, maybe I have to be a little bit psychic to pull out the word bold. The word bold keeps showing up in my mind for some reason.
I don't know why. And it's a funny thing. I'm a quick background. I was an academic. I did my graduate work at Stanford. I was a Hollywood screenwriter, producer for many years, Emmy nominated, and got single at 39 and had no idea how to be single, and sort of wandered out into the world of being single with a great writing skill. I taught poetry and writing at Stanford, scripts and all that stuff. And I really got fascinated by language. And so I was playing with online dating profiles just for fun while I was writing movies for Disney. And then I was teaching a course for people on how to sort of access sort of world wisdom as a way to express who they are. And I was teaching that in my spare time because I was trying to save my soul from Hollywood. And I went to my first internet marketing seminar in 2004 and heard that there was a guy making $7 million a year teaching dating advice. And I said, well, I actually know something about that. I actually got plucked. My profile online got plucked, and I was on a TV show on ABC called How to Get the Guy. I was the guy. My profile started like this. You are inspired and inspiring, vivacious and witty with a great open-hearted laugh. Joy swims around you. You can't help it. Now, what I was doing was I could go into the NLP of it, the poetry of it, semiotics of it. But what I was doing was the opposite of what everyone else was doing. It was kind of bragging about themselves.
Yep.
So I wrote a book for men and for women on how to speak the language of the other gender using my background in psychology and semiotics. And they became huge hits. And suddenly I had this giant dating business. And it was fascinating. And as I got a bigger audience and the questions became deeper, I deepened and then started teaching, what does it mean to communicate? What does it mean to be authentic? I have a program for men and women called Attract, Connect, Inspire, which are kind of the 3 levels of deep connection. And what I hit on for men particularly was from a book called 59 Seconds. And I will have Dr. Richard Wiseman on my podcast. University studies show that boldness is the single most important quality that attracts women to men, because it shows courage and risk-taking. And I won't go into details about it, but it also spoke to me about my life because I got married very young. Very typically, I sort of subsumed myself in my marriage, and I buried a lot of my boldness trying to make everything okay in the marriage, which is a noble cause. I sort of lost myself, as many men do, and many women as well. And so I really started digging into what is this boldness? What is it to be courageous? And what I have really experienced years now, I've been teaching for 14 years, teaching men all around the world and women, that a bold life is not only naturally magnetic to the other sex, whether you're in a relationship or dating, but it's also, it's enlivening to who you are. So I call it F Normal. to be provocative, right? Because I always say F normal or normal will F you, right? Because normal is not made for you. Normal was made by people and institutions to serve other people in other institutions. And when people sort of move through life in a semi-sleep because of, living out the habits that they've developed because their parents gave them to, or their school, or their religion, or their local culture, they're not really expressing the unique human being that each of us actually are and get to be. So I really hit on boldness, and it's called F normal, and it has two meanings, by the way. So F normal is kind of like, yeah, F normal, like don't live out what normal was told to you, right? Discover what enlivens you. But the other idea of F normal, like literally copulate with what's normal, like see what's out there, bring your uniqueness into interaction with, everything that you've grown up with and experienced, and create a new baby. The new baby that you F normal with should be unique and should be your actual self-expression. Because to me, if you go through life and don't actually boldly live the life that you're called to live, internally and externally, it's a waste. I mean, why not? You got one shot at this. So that's why it's called F normal.
That is awesome. I took a couple notes already. That is really cool. So what prompted you to F normal? I mean, I know you talked about how you had the journey in your own life, and you started with the attract, and ignite, inspire. What made you, when was the aha moment of, I need to take this to the next level?
Oh, well, my F normal came very early in life, 8, 7, maybe 8, standing at the school bus stop in the freezing snow in your state, New York, before I moved out here to sunny California. I grew up in the Hudson Valley, and watching my dad and all the other dads get into their cars on freezing cold mornings, try to start the car. Sometimes we had to push it out through the snow and the ice. They would drive into New York City, work in a big class building all day long, while apparently, according to Wild Kingdom, there were cheetahs and lions and leopards and antelope and volcanoes and ice flows in this big, gorgeous world. And I watched all these fathers go into the city every day and work in a glass box, come home 7:30, 8 after traffic, bedraggled, their tie kind of open, have a little dinner with mom, have a drink, open the New York Times, and fall asleep. And I very early said, I'm not going to do this. This is not the life I'm going to lead. There is a big, gorgeous world out there. So from a very early age, I started funding my own travel from like 14, 15, because we had no money, really. And so I've always kind of lived that, like, this is a gorgeous, amazing gift of a life. And I don't mean that as a cliche. I mean, actually, really, truly. And so I really set out very early in my life to test everything I grew up with. And I lived all around the world in my teens and 20s and 30s. Nope, 30s, I kind of stayed put raising kids. 40s, back all around the world again, and 50s as well. So it was very early intuition that I had that life is precious. Also, my sister died when I was very young. So I also had that life is precious message driven home the hard way. So I've always just never taken life for granted and always saw it as a great adventure. Helen Keller, bold, has a great quote. She says, life is a bold and great adventure, or it's nothing. And I've always kind of lived that way. And then, with that idea, then the question is like refining, what is it to live a bold life? It's not just being in reaction. Yeah, when you're a teenager in your 20s, you're in reaction against your parents and your culture and your upbringing, and you're trying to identify who you are against something. But as you get into your 30s and 40s and more, it's really that internal boldness of the courage to bring out who you are, not necessarily in reaction to anyone, but because it's calling to you. So the process of living a bold life is internal and external, and just sort of an ongoing courageous exploration, which is what the podcast is about, bringing people and also profiles. I'll be doing profiles of people I consider are bold, courageous, and inspiring, bringing people to kind of open up, expand the listeners' minds, their hearts, their sense of what's possible in this lifetime, and pretty much up any laziness and what do you call static sort of plateauing that people fall into.
That is absolutely awesome. What do you want to be when you grow up?
I don't want to grow up.
You kind of got that Peter Pan quality going on.
I always say I'm trying to find my inner adult, and it's
that's good. I've never heard it put that way before.
Well, look, we're always growing up. We're growing in. We're growing out. I can see you yawning, by the way.
That has nothing to do with you. My wife has laryngitis at the moment.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So no, I've said to my kids, actually, who are in their 20s now, I said, listen, if I went off to the Amazon and I said, listen, if I don't come back, right? If I died, if I happen to die in my 50s, right? Don't mourn my life. I was one of the lucky ones. You know, I feel like I've always done what was most important to me. You know, in my 20s, I got to travel the world. I got to study with some of the greatest minds in the world. In my 30s, I got to raise my children, write movies for Disney, write movies for TV, you know, and spend my afternoons with my kids. In my 40s, I got to live my 20s because I got divorced at 39. So I had an amazing 40s. Now my 50s is kind of all coming together. So growing up, you know, I think it's just a process of growing. You know, the idea of, it's funny you say it, because when I was a little kid, I used to think growing up means you're an adult when you're 25, and then you kind of plateau until you retire at 65. That was the model I had. Like, you're done at 25. You get a job and you're done. Right. So growing up is a constant for me.
Who are the people that you like, the types of people that you like working with the most in the Bold Tribe universe?
Yeah, you know, that's a great
Boldiverse.
The Boldiverse. Oh, I like that. The Boldiverse. So I have this program. It's kind of my highest level program called the Bold Life Brotherhood. And it's a weekly learning that we do together online based on lots of what I consider the most provocative, evocative, soul expanding writers and thinkers who have ever lived. But we also travel the world. We went to Italy last year to explore the lover archetype aspect of who we are. We've done warrior weekends exploring the warrior aspect. We went to Italy, of course, because we're better for lovers. But it's like, lover, what does it mean to love life? So we did a gourmet cooking school. We climbed Mount Etna. What does it mean to love women, obviously? So we explored that subject, an ongoing one, like how to deeply connect. We went to Greece to explore kingship. We went to the Yucatan to explore the magician element. These are all archetypes from Jung's work.
Yeah.
And who do I enjoy working with? Wow. I mean, the guys who come are amazing. One guy was a ballet dancer now he's a tango teacher in Argentina. And he had a beautiful, exquisite sensitivity to women. He said this beautiful line, I'll share it with everyone. He said, when you dance with a woman, it's like you're holding your heart in her hand for 3 to 5 minutes. And he had this beautiful, tender approach. I had another guy who is a hotelier. He builds hotels all around the world. And he's a spiritual adventurer, you know, so he loves our more spiritual adventures, like to Peru and things like that. I have ex-army officers who I love because of their experience. They're very disciplined, and they also understand their constriction. So they're really excited about opening up. So I think the thing I love about the people I work with is that they come raw. I mean, they're raw and ready and just like, let's bring it. Like, they're not masking themselves. They're normal, right? They're effing normal. They say, this is my norm, and I know it's not all I can be. I know I'm not loving as much as I can love. I know I'm not loved as much as I could be loved. I know I'm not waking up every day as excited about life as I could be. So they come to me. And so that's what we do at our opening weekend, by the way. I call it the Awakening Weekend. You know, how to awaken to these things. I mean, and we talk about it, but when you do it, you get it. We awaken to who we are as individuals. Day 1. Day 2, we awaken to what we could be in relationship, because everyone's got masks. Me too. Everyone's got masks. Everyone holds back. Everyone's afraid to say things. And on day 3, we explore, what does it mean to be awake as a man in the world, as a leader, as a participant. So I like people who, and the guys who come, man, they're raw. I mean, like I said, they're just like, they don't hold back. We start doing the exercises, the practices, they're in full force. So that's what I love. What I don't like are people who are just masked and half asleep and protecting the thing they think is them instead of being open to the process that they actually are.
That makes a lot of sense. For our folks who are listening to this, who want to learn more about all things Bold, Adam, and F Normal themselves, where's the best place for us to send them?
Well, obviously the F Normal podcast is called F Normal, the Bold Life Gilad cast. Please visit adamgilad.com. My Facebook group is called The Bold Life Community. I'm changing it to The Bold Life Tribe at some point. So try both of those depending on when you're listening to that. Go to adamgilad.com/21 laws, and you can download my book for free, The 21 Laws of Boldness. And that to me is kind of a foundation of breaking out of anything that's constricting.
Awesome. We will put all of those links in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here. We greatly appreciate your time. Thanks everybody for listening and watching. Adam, thank you so much for being here.
My absolute pleasure, man.
Do you need money to fund your idea, product, or service? Are you ready to take your business to the next level but need capital to get it done? Kevin Harrington has heard more than 50,000 pitches and knows how to help you make the perfect pitch to get the funding for your entrepreneurial dream. He's distilled the process down in his perfect pitch cheat sheet, and it's yours for free. Just text PITCH to him right now at 727-888-2100. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 right now and claim your free perfect pitch cheat sheet. Text PITCH to 727-888-2100 to start funding your dream today.
This show has been produced by Market Domination, LLC. To discover how you can have your own show completely done for you and turn it into a real published book and become the authority in your marketplace, go to www.marketdominationllc.com/podcast offer.